Okay, everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat. Here at Shirat David Baruch Hashem in Eretz Yisrael, in Efrat. Efrat. Baruch Hashem. And Baruch Hashem, we learned yesterday, we finished learning yesterday lesson 24 in Likutey, which is a preparation for Hilchos Ha'idor, Halachos 6. And this is going to be a little lengthy. We have it's going to go for a couple of weeks, and it's an amazing learning. Nussin's going to really touch upon many different things we learned before, and he's going to add. He's going to blend them all together, and like he always does, and he makes the most beautiful tapestry of everything that he does. It's unbelievable. So with Siyata Deshmai, let's begin. Today we're in Halacha Vav, and we're up to letter Beis 2. And this is the idea of the obligation of everybody that finds themselves in a difficult situation, of the 4 different types of difficult situations. They give public haidah. They give public thanks. Sheim daled chayavim lohoides shehem holchei midbariyos. We start off with the one that went through the desert, and we learned about him, right? He went through the desert, and he experienced the drought of the desert, and he experienced all the dangers of the desert. But he was able to soldier on and get through the desert. And then the one that was incarcerated, right? One that was incarcerated for whatever reason, and he was freed. If you had a person that was sick with a difficult ailment, and the person was healed, so he gives thanks. And the Yardei Hayam, and then those that go travel through the sea and deal with the sea and the storms of the sea, and all of the dangers of being in the sea. So, all of them, when they come up, when they pass through their situation, they will have to say the public thanks. Look how beautiful these words are. Any tzar a Jew finds himself in, you're never yourself. You're never by yourself. You're never by yourself. Why? Ki bechol tzarosam loy tzar. It's a tzar to Hashem. Hashem feels the pain that we're in. Whenever a Jew is in any pain at all, Hashem is there with the person. He feels the pain of the person. I mean, that's so comforting to know that. You're never in a difficult situation by yourself. You're always there with Hashem. I mean, that is amazing to think about. I mean, we should stop the class right there. Just talk about that, right? The fact, any trouble you find yourself in, Hashem is there with you. You can seek counsel from Hashem because He's there with you in the problem. So because the Shekhinah is there, because you have a neshama with you. Let's think about it, right? Every Jew has a neshama, right? The neshama is a chelik elikam mal, part of Hashem. The neshama is a part of Hashem, and you're in trouble. The neshama is in with you, so of course Hashem is there with you, right? Ve'ikar golus hashchina hu ma sha'atzvus misgaber al alev Yisrael. The main golus of the Shekhinah is the fact that depression sets in the heart of any Jew. Right? A person has a problem. He feels he hears about a sickness, chas v'sholem. Person hears about a financial disaster. He feels it. Sorry, he feels in his heart he feels in his heart, he feels some depression. And he quotes the pasuk, "Vayisyatze ve'libay." HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, after he made the world and everything he created, and all the people and all the creations were going off from what they was from what they were supposed to do, and they went all to do things against the Ratzon Hashem, and Hashem had to destroy the world with the flood, the great flood. Vayisyatze ve'libay. Hashem had whatever that means. Hashem is not physical. Hashem is nothing. There's nothing to do with physicality. But Hashem is teaching us a lesson here. That whenever there's a problem, you feel this atzvus in your heart. You understand? You feel this atzvus in the heart. But if you realize that Hashem is there with you, that can turn the atzvus around. Yes, sir?
Not only that, when I have been in that place,
yeah,
and screamed out to Hashem, within 24 hours, he's given me a sign that he's doing something to alleviate that already.
Of course, no. But again, because he's there with you. You're not dealing with. When you recognize that Hashem is there with you, and He put you in that situation. You understand? It was Hashem that put us in that situation. So if He put you in the situation, of course He knows how to get out of the situation. Right?
I know, however, when I'm in that situation, it's not feeling so good.
Yeah. No one said, no, that's why the person feels depression.
But within 24 hours, I'm telling you, he is...
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay. Kamavoy b'Torah anal shemishom kol ha'tayvos b'frat tayvos hamishko v'tayvos mammon. Atzvos, depression, is the cause of immorality. How do you like that? Mm-hmm. You want to know? See, if you see a person that's very immoral, you know that that's a very depressed person. Amazing, is that amazing, right?
Well, you can see it yourself too. You know, when your gaivas are up, you got to look. It's usually because your amun is down. You know.
Of course, not natural, but no. So here we're focusing on two things: the taiva mishko, immorality, and the taiva from mammon,
Right.
the lust of money.
Right.
The lust of immorality, the lust of money. These are the two things that are triggered via depression.
Right.
Depression triggers both immorality and the lust for money. Shabayim rak min atzvos. They come only through atzvos. You see this? Only through atzvos. That's what triggered. That's the only trigger. But the person will say, "What do you mean?" The person will say, I'm very happy. Rabbi? Why are you telling me that's a depression? No. If you look in the person's inner self, on the outside and externally, he could seem to be happy, but inside he's very depressed, and that's why he's lusting after these things to mask the depression. Mm-hmm. It's fascinating to understand it. Kol tzaris Rahman al-Islam, and that's the taivas. These taivas themselves, they're drawn from the atzvos. Therefore, when Hashem helps us, and Hashem is always helping us, we just have to turn to Him and trust that He's helping us, to know that. So now we don't have that, right? But when we had the Mishkan and we had the Beis Hamikdash, so if a person went through one of these four situations, when he successfully left this situation, he would go to the Beit HaMikdash and he would bring a carbon toda. Amazing. He would bring a thank you sacrifice. V'achshav, but now, she'ein lanu carbon tzrichen lohides bepeh b'chol libay. But the same way we said when a person brings a sacrifice, he's bringing his nefesh, he's bringing his heart, he has to bring his heart to Hashem. So now we're saying the words instead of bringing the carbon. We can't bring the carbon. We can't bring the sacrifice now. So now what we can do is we could still say the words, and we can say the words with all our heart. Simcha. That's the idea of simcha. Like David HaMelech said in chapter 4, Nasata simcha belibi. That's the simchas in the heart. If the heart is not full of joy, then the heart is full of depression. And if the heart's full of depression, the person is full of immorality. The person will be full of lust of money. Because the main simcha comes from gratitude, showing gratitude and thanks to Hashem. When we show thanks to Hashem, when we give gratitude to Hashem for all He gives us, that's where we gain the most simcha. And that's so counterintuitive. You would think the other way around, right? Here, I thank Hashem. That brings me joy. Why? Because I realize it was you, Hashem, that gave me whatever gave me. And it's you, Hashem, that can help me with anything I need. So that's the greatest sense of security a person has. And the person has a sense of security, he's happy. Right? If the person can thank Hashem for giving him his parnasa, so then like we learned, the person doesn't have to worry about giving his tzedakah. Right? Because it was you that gave it to me, Hashem. And then we learned if you give tzedakah, you could change all the galgalei arakia. You can change all the constellations, and everything can go the way you want it to go. So thanking Hashem opens the door to all success, because it gives you simcha. Simcha is the door, is the catalyst of all successes in life. שזה עיקר תכלס השמחה של העוset, שעוז יעסקו רק בתוידה וידוע להשם יזברך בשמחה עצומה. In the time of Mashiach, we'll all be involved in giving thanks and praise to Hashem. It'll be a tremendous sense of joy for us, a powerful joy, a simcha atzuma. A powerful joy, a very powerful joy we'll have. Right, like we say in the Tehillim, like we have from the Tikkun HaKloli, from Rabbi Nachman, the great Tikkun HaKloli, the 10 chapters of Tehillim are connected to the 10 different types of song. And again, when someone's happy, they sing. Right, so song is involved, and song sometimes can trigger happiness, right? Like we say in chapter 100. We learned about chapter 100, right? Person, when a lady is giving birth, if they having trouble with the birth, or it's a good thing anyway. It opens up the birthing canal, it opens up the whole thing, the 70 cries. Remember all the things that we learned about this chapter, chapter 100. כי זה עיקר תיקון של התורה והידוע שחייבים להידש כשיוצא מהצרה לסכן הקלקול שמשם באו הצרה שזהו העצבס. And that's the antidote. The person was in a problem. Right? Let's think about it. The person went to the sea. The person he was incarcerated. He was sick. He went to the desert. What led him to these situations? He wasn't connected to Hashem. He wasn't connected to joy. So I put him in these difficult situations to help him find Hashem. And there are many people that when they find themselves in a desperate situation, they find Hashem. It's so sad that that's the way it has to be, but sometimes people they're not interested. So Hashem has to sometimes coerce the person, put him in that situation, put him literally in the corner, stick him in that corner, to him to turn to Hashem, to realize my salvation is only going to come from Hashem. Right? We had our chatufim, right? We had our captives. They were stuck in those tunnels. And they were able to turn to Hashem. Amazing. Amazing. Really. And some of these people never spoke to Hashem before. They didn't know of Hashem. They didn't know. They didn't learn. They didn't know. But they found Hashem. It's just so amazing if you would later today you just stop and think for a second. How HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants everyone to do tshuva. He wants everyone. So he has to orchestrate this entire thing that was to the naked eye was a tremendous disaster. Right? It was a tremendous disaster. Yeah, but look how Hashem behind the scenes, he's doing what he's doing. We have no idea. But to realize Hashem is mamish with us, and I mean, it's just so amazing. I'm so amazed. Just to even think you're talking about it. It's amazing. And you give the public thanks when you go out of the tsar. So therefore, from now on, I'll be able to be saved from all these problems. Because again, if you're with Hashem, you don't find yourself in the trouble. You only find yourself in trouble when you try to leave Hashem. Take a look at Yonah. Yonah, everything was going good for him. He tries to run away from Hashem. He gets swallowed up by the whale, the big fish. He gets swallowed up by him. He wouldn't have had the problem if he didn't try to run away from Hashem. Right? You see that in the story, right? He ran away. He could have stayed with Hashem, and the whole thing would have been very different. That's like us in it's in our lives, it's the same thing.
He didn't realize that Hashem was running with him.
He didn't realize Hashem was with him in the tsar. He thought he was there by himself. No, so we always have to look back at these things and take a lesson from these mistakes and see how we can advance our lives and we can be closer to Hashem through these things that happen. So in other words, everything that Hashem shows us and everything that's in our Torah is precious, and they're all different advices to help us to get close to Hashem if you choose to study them, if you choose to take the lesson from each one of them, right? And from now on, the person will not find himself in these difficult situations, because now he understands and he found the secret. He found the secret to success, joy. So instead of his heart now filled with atzvus, depression, and he's running after all the immorality and all the different sites and all the different things and all the different places, now he says, no. Now I realize, wow, Hashem, I was stuck in all of this stuff and you pulled me out of it. A person has to give such gratitude to Hashem, right? I was stuck in all of that stuff, in that muck, in the quicksand. It was sucking me in, it was pulling me in. And you pulled me out, Hashem? It's amazing, right? Until the person can make all the rectifications. He can make all the rectifications for his past. He can fix everything. Again, by gratitude to Hashem. And then a person can look and say, wow, I realize, Hashem, you put me in this situation. And look how you say, wow. And then, you think of that situation. And you thank Hashem again and again and again. Lahasig or Ein Sof. In order to be masig, to attain the Or Ein Sof. And what does this mean by the Or Ein Sof? How do you get the Or Ein Sof? Because we learned in lesson 24. Whenever a person is in Gullus, the Shekhinah is in Gullus, and then the Shekhinah rises. The joy motivates the Shekhinah, or elevates the Shekhinah, and energizes the Shekhinah to be able to rise up. And then the Shekhinah rises up to Malchut. And then once the Shekhinah is in Malchus, it keeps going, the momentum, and it goes to Netzach, Hod, Yesod, the 3. And then the 3 goes up to the next 3. Right? You take the Shekhinah, goes with Netzach, Hod, Yesod, all the way up to Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes. And then now the 6 of them with the Shekhinah go up to Chachma, Bina, Das. Now they're very powerful. There's a tremendous momentum. So it hits the Keter. And when it collides with the Keter, it bounces it back. And it makes from each of the 3 segments of the Sefirot, okay, it makes 9 chambers, 9 vessels that can contain the Or Ein Sof, the infinite light. Okay, they're not physical kalim, they're not physical chambers. These are spiritual. But this is what we're talking about, how the simcha can then come back into the person's heart when he feels that Or Ein Sof, and we don't know what it is. We don't know what it is. We can't relate it, right? Mati v'loy mati. I got it, but I feel something, but I can't identify with it. But I just feel so. It feels good. Right. I'm sure you all feel. Well, yes, yeah.
How were you raising this?
With joy.
With the joy.
Do mitzvah with a joy. Do a mitzvah with joy. Joy is the catalyst.
Okay.
Joy is the catalyst. So yesterday I met with Reb Chaim Kramer, my dear Rebbe, and I was talking to him, and we were learning lesson 24, and I told him I used the analogy of the ball. He said that was great. He liked it. So it was good, Baruch Hashem. I like to always bounce the ideas. No. So I told him like this. I said, really, the ball in this case can be almost a Shekhinah, right? You bounce the ball. That's the joy. You start to bounce the ball. That's the joy in the mitzvah. Then it goes a little bit higher as you're bouncing it. Then it goes a little bit higher. Then it goes a little bit higher. But each time what you do is you keep pushing it back down. That's how you get it to go higher. You can only go high if you push it back down. Right?
It's like bouncing a ball.
Bouncing the ball, exactly. The keter pushes you back. You understand? That's the idea. The keter pushes you back. Okay? And that's like you bounce the ball. And the same way we said that the whole point of the keter is there, what? To keep the mind in line so that the mind should not mind should not wander and go off track. Right? The same thing when you're bouncing the ball. If you bounce it gently, and you're careful what you're doing, you won't lose control of the ball. But if you start to bounce it a little bit too wildly, you'll lose the ball. Right? It's really unbelievable if you understand it. So that's what he means, the Or Ein Sof. Again, when a person now, he does the mitzvah. And that's why he says, when you say thank you to Hashem, say with all your heart. What does all your heart mean? The joy in your heart. Say the thank you with all your heart. With all the joy in your heart, you say those words. And then you can experience the Or Ein Sof in your life. And again, it's something that you can't see it, you'll feel it. You'll feel it in your life. You'll just feel energized. You'll feel motivated. You'll feel full of energy. You don't know that's where it came from. Chazal tell us that when Mashiach comes, all the sacrifices, the way we have them now, they'll all be nullified. We won't need them. We won't need them. But we will always have the carbon toda, the carbon thank you. You can look that up in Medrash Rabbah and Parshas in Vayikra. Chav Zayin. Okay. So this is the idea of amazing to understand. Really, depression is what sets in the heart. Vayisyatse velibo, right? Depression sets in the heart, and it brings the person to all the different desires, specifically to two. The desire of immorality, and it leads the person to the desire and lust for money. Now again, let's understand something. We are not talking about things that are healthy. Okay, we're talking about the lust involved, right? The person is married, and his wife went to the mikveh, right? And he has a mitzvah to be with his wife. You understand? That's a mitzvah. That's not considered taivas mishkal, right? Taivas mishkal is something to be with someone else other than his wife. You understand? That's taivas mishkal. You understand? If the person goes to work to earn his livelihood, to support his family, to pay his bills, to pay for tuition in yeshiva for the children, to pay for food for Shabbos, and so on and so forth, that's not taivas mammon. You understand? Taivas mammon is where a person looks at he logs on to his bank account, and he says, well, I have $1 million, but my friend, I know he's got a couple of million, so hey, I need more money. I need more money. You got this guy like Elon Musk, right? He has $1 trillion. $1 trillion, even if he wanted to buy a new home every day, he couldn't spend. If he bought a new house every day.
He doesn't even live. He lives in his office in his factory.
No, whatever. I'm just saying. That's all. That's taivas mammon. No life. It's no life.
Remember Howard Hughes? Remember Howard Hughes?
Yeah, oh yeah.
He died in a hotel room with millions of dollars.
Yeah.
TWA. He starved. He died of starvation.
Wow. A millionaire, huh?
He was a big millionaire. TWA. He was a famous recluse.
The money.
And the people who were involved with Epstein, all those wealthy big names. What does it say?
Taivas mishkal and money. So say the two things. They all go together. The Rebbe knows. Believe just the Rebbe. He knows what he's talking about. And then you look at the world and you see what here. The Rebbe wrote these things way before any of these things happened. All right. Anyway, so we have to understand that the person only finds himself in a difficult situation because he had the atzvas. He felt himself disconnected from Hashem. As soon as he turns to Hashem and he gives gratitude to Hashem, he can transfer the depression. He can exchange the depression for joy. Once he has joy in his heart, he's with Hashem, and he's on the road to success. All right, let's go to Gimel. Ubishvil zeh mevi'in bekarban toida dalid mine lechem b'chol echad asar chales. So when you brought the carbon toda, there was also brought with it lechem, which is a very strange thing, because normally you didn't have chametz. We didn't have chametz in the Beis Hamikdash, but this carbon had chametz. The only chametz that we had besides this carbon was the shtei halechem when it came to Shavuos. We brought the showbreads. We brought the breads on Shavuos. We brought the shtei halechem. Right, we learned after on Pesach we brought the Omer Tenufa, we brought the barley waving offering, right? And then we went through Sfira. When we finished the Sfira, we came to Shavuos, we brought the Lechem. But the carbon toda also had bread. Let's learn about it. And there are 4 different kinds of breads. So Rav Nosson is saying, wait, there's 4 different kinds of breads. Of course you need 4 different, because there are 4 different types of situations a person finds himself in to give hoda'ah. So of course you have to have 1 bread for each, 1 type of bread for each one. And he says you have to have 10 breads for each one. Why do you have to have 10 of each one? Because there are 10 spheres for each one. The ikar atzvus is clenching on to the bread bebechinas beitzvan teichlena HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Adam Arishon, "Be'itzvain teichlena." You'll eat your bread; it'll be bread of depression. B'zeyas hapecha toicha lechem. Right? Hashem said, "By the sweat of your brow will you eat bread." Be'itzvain teichlena, but you'll eat it in a state of depression. So you see, what?
Talk about, I mean, when they said there's 4 types of bread or 10 types of songs.
We're gonna learn. No, we're gonna learn about the bread, the songs we learned about. The songs we learned about in the Tikkun HaKlali, each passage starts with another word that indicates song, and there are 10 different types of song. And we learned that the 10 different types of song are connected to the 10 different types of pulses in the blood in the person.
So if I looked in Tikkun Klali, I looked at the first word, that indicates the type of song
Yes, sir.
that it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I didn't know.
The first 1 or 2 words will indicate that. Yes.
Indicate the type of
Yes.
song. What is one of the types, as an example?
What do you mean?
So what, like if you take one of the Psalms,
Yeah.
what are the first 2 words and what does it say that tells you what type it is?
Michtam LeDavid. That's the first one.
Mechtam David.
Yeah. One type of song. And we could learn
The
about that. If you
writings
want to
of David.
study, we could learn to study about the different types of song. That's not the lesson here right now. Okay, but there are 10 different types of song connected to the 10 different sphirot, connected to the 10 different types of pulses in the body as well. If you want to study a little bit more about the 10 different types of pulses of blood, read the book of anatomy that Rabbi Kramer wrote, okay? So he'll tell you about that in that book, okay? All right. All
I
right?
have these books, I read them. It's obvious that I don't understand them when I read them all the time, but now I'll be able to connect with it a different way.
Yes, as we learn here,
Yeah,
you'll be able
yeah.
to. You'll be able to. Yes, he's saying a lot of different things, but now you'll. Oh, that's what he
That's
meant.
also what he's saying.
Oh,
yeah.
that's what he meant.
Which book is that?
Anatomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
All of
what?
them, actually.
That's a masterpiece. But his best one is Through Fire and Water by far, as far as I'm concerned.
You can't put that down.
Yeah. Mitzvah teichlena. B'zeyas hapecha toicha lechem. Via the sweat of your brow shall you eat your bread. Ulehepech ikka tikun achila yedei simcha bechinas echol besimcha lachmecha. Eat your bread with great joy. That's the opposite. It's either be'itzvain teichlena or it'll be oicha besimcha lachmecha. Eat your bread with joy. So the bread that's associated with the carbon toda is bread of joy. Okay? Got it, guys? Yeah, okay. A person should eat and drink and be merry. How do you like that? Nice, huh? Eat, drink, and be merry. Asara chales. Mikol min. They come from different types of species. Keneged bechinas yud mine negina, that are connected to the 10 types of song. Shei mekar klal kol asmachos, and that is the source and all inclusive of all simcha comes from those 10 different types of song. And again, let's think for a second. Rabbi Nachman said that the Tikkun HaKlali is the all-inclusive tikkun, specifically for spilling of seed. Okay, specifically for that one. Where would the desire, the lust come to spill seed? From depression. Right? From depression. If the person's depressed, so it causes him to do these type of things. Right? What's the opposite? If he has simcha, because he has atzvut in his heart. But like David HaMelech said, "Nasata simcha belibi," when I have joy in my heart. So now Rabbi Nachman says, if you take the 10 different types of song, which is the source of all joy, and you say the 10 different types of song, and you connect yourself to them, you're doing it with joy. You're causing that whole system that we discussed before, and you keep making those 9 different chambers that are filled with the infinite light, that now you get to benefit. And that's what can transform the person from the atzvos to the simcha. And again, we repeat this one more time because it's so important. The Holy Arizal said that he was able to accomplish his understanding in Torah like no one understood before him at the time. He had a deep understanding of the deepest secrets of the Kabbalah. He came up with understanding the deepest secrets of Kabbalah. And no one could decipher it. How did he do it? How did he do it? And why was he different than anyone else? Because he worked on doing mitzvahs b'simcha. He said this himself. He said the secret to my success. And boy, was he successful. Right? He was really successful. The secret to my success was I learned how to do a mitzvah with joy. And you want to know something? We can all do that. We can all do that. We're doing mitzvahs anyway. Learn, think about putting a little bit of simcha into your mitzvahs and watch how you can advance. It's not telling you to do anything difficult. Or maybe it's the most difficult thing in the world.
Yeah, it's a very simple answer.
Yeah.
To do something with joy. And doing that, we have to develop
No. Again, when you realize that Hashem gave me, He gave me this Torah, and He gave me the mitzvos, and these are all different advices, 613 different advices on how to get closer to you, Hashem, and you let me do them? After what I've done, and you still let me do these mitzvos? The person feels gratitude. But if a person's, is the checklist type of Jew, right, and he just checks off, it doesn't mean anything to him.
I used to not understand how whoever they are, I don't know who they is, people tell me how it is, would say that there are some tzaddikim that can actually take 4 hours or whatever to do the Amida alone or something like that. Just where now I can actually get it because they're really thanking Hashem all the way through it.
Yeah, well, again, if we would really stop to think, then when we come into the Shemona Esrei, we're not in this world. Yeah, physically we're in this world, but spiritually we're in the highest world. We're in the world of Atzilut. We're in the highest place. We enter a place that even the greatest angels are not allowed to go to that place. The angels have to stop at the world of Bria. We're in the world of Asiya. Then you go to the world of Yetzirah. Then there's the world of Bria, and then there's the world of Atzilut. And that's how Tefillah goes. Our neshamas go all the way up to Atzilut. The highest angel can't go there. But we can go there. So if you really spend time thinking about that, the Shemona Esrei becomes very precious. Right? But if you just think, oh, when I say these words, I said those words.
I had a great experience yesterday. I got to sit and watch Tzaddik for a long time, and he was just so. Moshe Kramer.
Yeah.
You know him? He was at a chasana, and he was just so happy.
Yeah.
He had a smile that didn't leave his face, and he was just peaceful, and just everything gave him joy that he looked at. Whoa, I got it from him.
You feel the awe, right? You feel that.
I felt it. I couldn't take my eyes off of him.
Yeah, but that's the success.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
No, but it comes from recognizing Hashem.
Yeah.
When you recognize Hashem, you just want to say thank you.
People came up to him for brachas. He was just so happy to give them a bracha. And, children, everybody, whoever it was, he put his arms on them, his hands on them. It was beautiful to watch. Old man.
Yeah. Baruch Hashem. No, he's very young.
Very young.
He's the oldest and the youngest.
Yeah.
Well over 90.
Yeah. But he's full of life.
Full.
And then you have a 20-year-old that's full of depression. right? So who's the young person? No, this is how it works. This is the secret. Okay. That's that. Let's go to Dalet. V'yesh l'ramez gam beprotius hadalet mine lechem shemeviim bekarben toida. Let's now talk about the 4 different types of bread that we brought with the carbon toda. And we're going to discuss a lot about this. Shem kineged bechinas atikunim shenasa ma'idei simchas hamitzvah, because the simcha of the mitzvah is the carbon toda. In other words, they're synonymous, one with the other. You can't have simcha without thanks. And if you give thanks, you'll have simcha. They work hand in hand. Thanking Hashem comes through recognizing Hashem. When you recognize Hashem and you recognize all the things He's done for us, so then, of course, we want to give gratitude. We want to thank Hashem. When you thank Hashem, you feel so at ease. You just have joy because you recognize where your salvation came from, and you're able to thank. You're able to thank the one that they gave you the salvation. It's amazing. She says, "Bechinas carbon toda." This is the idea of carbon toda. Kimavoyesham b'Torah now that we learned in lesson 24 in 2. Shal yedei simchas hamitzvah oila malchus mi bein haklipos. By doing a mitzvah with joy, we elevate the Shechina from in between the malchus, in between the Shechina malchus. One, it's the same. The Shechina and the malchus from between the klipos. And when the person conjures up the idea to do a mitzvah, all the worlds are dependent on me doing this mitzvah. See, the rabbi understood that, David. You understand? The rabbi understood, when I do this mitzvah, all the worlds are waiting for me to do that mitzvah. They're all dependent on me right now. They're all waiting for me. This is not empowering, then tell me what is. Realizing all the worlds are waiting for you to do this mitzvah. Me, I can do this mitzvah. That's going to help all the world. That's the idea of malchus. Umalbush netzach hoyd yisoid. And then the malchus, it connects itself to the netzach hoyd yisoid, the 3, right? Shem klei halicha. Those are the kelim of walking, of going. Because we said that the legs, netzach and hoyd, the netzach is the right leg, hoyd is the left leg. Right? Hoyd is the left leg. So those are the kelim of halicha. You walk with your legs. Vayidei halicha nimshach bracha, and through halicha brings you blessing. Why? L'cholay lamois bechinas netzach hoyd yisoid malvishim es chesed gevura tiferes she'ema yedayim shemisham kol habrachos. As we said, that Aaron put out his hand and he blessed the people. Right? All blessing comes via the hands. And the main blessings come from the hands. And that's why the Kohanim today, when they duchen, they put out their hands. Right? Put out the hands. Because all the blessing goes via the hands. Shehem seichel. Bebechinas chesed gevura tiferes malvishim es chochma bina das. And then when the person has the bracha, chesed gevura tiferes, it together with netzach hoyd yisoid, chesed gevura tiferes, connects together up to chochma bina das. Vayidei zeh nisader or mesader, and then it can cause seder in the person's mind. Why? Because it has that collision. It has that collision with the keter. And the keter says is hamtana. Wait. Pushes back. The keter pushes back. And which causes the mind to be jolted. The mind is so full of joy. The mind is just wandering. The mind wants to go to the Orain Seif because the neshama is in the mind. And it wants to wander. And it wants to go to wherever. It just wants to leave. The keter comes, pushes it back, jolts the mind. No, stay where you are. Containment, organization. You understand? That's what the keter does. It causes that. Again, if we didn't learn the lesson, we wouldn't understand any of these points right now, right? And again, we're going to try to explain it, but I had to. That's why it was so important that we learned the lesson, because otherwise, the lesson is just like this is as if you know the material. So if you don't know the material here, and in Breslov, this lesson here in Hilchos Haidah Vav is one of the most prized lessons in all of Likutey Halachos. You should know it. In the Breslov circle, this halacha with Torah 24 is really one of the most celebrated lessons of Rav Nosson, because it's so full of joy, and it shows you how joy really is the catalyst of all success. All success. Shu bechinat keter, the keter comes and it collides. And it collides with the 3 sets of 3, right? And it causes the 9 heichalos, right? Ayin Sham, he says, go take a look over there. At least Baruch Hashem we did. Okay. Well, that I have to thank David for, because David, we did it one time, and you said, David, every time we do a lesson, and Reb Nosson says to do it in Likutey Moharan, we should learn the lesson in Likutey Moharan. So thank you, David.
He also started us doing the halacha today too. Shulchan Aruch.
He did? Okay, good. Baruch Hashem. All right. We're starting a new halacha today. Netilat Yadayim. Yeah. Okay, v'zeh bechinas hadalid minei lechem shemeviim b'karban taida. Now we're going to discuss the 4 different types of bread that are brought with the karban taida. Shehu bechinas simchas hamitzvah, shehem kineged arba bechinas tikunim shenasa ma'idei simchas hamitzvah. The 4 that are done through the idea of the simcha of the mitzvah. It's really an amazing thing. Ki chalois, matzos. You have this idea of chalois, that are breads that are baked in an oven, and these breads are not chametz, and they're mixed with oil. Zeh bechinas malchus shenikres chala. Malchus is called chala. Okay, it says in the Zohar Kodesh. Okay, chala hi ashchina midas malchus. Okay, she shiura, that the shear of chala mem gimel beitzim is 43 eggs. And it's really amazing. I'm going to tell you why. We never really talk about eggs. And now we're going to learn Likutey. We're going to learn a lesson in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and it's going to be based on an egg. No, really. What's the shir challah? It's 43 eggs. Is the shir challah to take hafrashas challah? Right? You take. We learned about it. It's either if you're doing in pounds, it's 5 pounds. 5 pounds. If you're making bread with 5 pounds of flour, and you mix whatever else you can eat, but you're going to use 5 pounds of flour. We said it was how many kilo was it, Shalom? 2 and a quarter, 2 and something. 2.2 kilos. Right, which is about same as 5 pounds, which is the halachic measurement of 43 eggs without the shell. We're going to learn. Okay, that's 43 eggs without the shell. That's how they came up. That's how they came up with. Now, which size are they? Medium? Are they large? Extra? 43 eggs. Okay. Okay. Bebechinas. The Isis of Gam Zois. Gam is 43. Gam Zois, that's where they came up with the idea of the 43. Zois also is an idea of Malchus. Zos is also Malchus, because Zos is Malchus, so they said, okay, Chala, which is Shechina, which is also Malchus. We said Shechina and Malchus are interchangeable, Shechina and Malchus. So therefore, Zos is also Shechina and Malchus. So the rabbi said, okay, fine. So that means it says Gam Zos. So Gam, it'll be 43 eggs will be the Zos for the Chala, for the shear of Chala. I'm sorry, it's a little bit esoteric, but he's giving us the background of why the halacha is 43. Right? That is the halacha. You look in Shulchan Aruch, that's the halacha. If you're baking bread and you're using more than 5 pounds of flour, you will take a piece off and do the hafrosha. Right? The hafrosha means you take it, you burn it right now, because we don't have a Kohen to give it to. Normally, we would have given it to our friendly Kohen. Right, the piece of challah, we bring it to the Kohen, but we don't do that today. Okay, and because of that, so we burn it. Okay, anyway, Tamuva b'dvar b'zichroinu l'vracha b'toira Abba Shol b'simin nun hey Likutey chelik aleph shezeh b'chinas ba'af gam zois b'yoisem be'eretz oiveihem ba'af zois b'yoisem be'eretz oiveihem with gam zois. Even with the B'yosim Be'eretz Aveiim, you're going to be in the place, the nations, in the land of your enemies. Know that the Shechina Malchus is with you. Right? Like we started off by saying, you're never in a tsar by yourself. Hashem is always there with you. So when we find ourselves as the Jewish people, whether we found ourselves in Spain, whether we found ourselves in Germany or in Italy, and in Poland, wherever it was, and Jews were in the lands of their enemies, to know that the Shekhinah is always there. When you'll be in the Eretz Avim, to know the Shekhinah will be with you. But the main goal is not that you're in that place. The depression that's caused by you being in that place, not recognizing that Hashem is with you in that place. And when you do a mitzvah with joy, you can lift up the Shekhinah, you lift up the whole situation with the joy as the catalyst. Shezeh bechinas malchus, shoyla min ha-klipas. That's the idea that malchus comes up from the klipas. When you do a mitzvah b'simcha, you energize. You energize the Shekhinah. The joy, the simcha is energy. You energize the Shekhinah and you cause motion. You cause the Shekhinah to start to rise. When the Shekhinah rises, it goes into Malchus, and we said, and it keeps going up and it keeps ascending. Then we have Rikikin. The next kind of bread is Rikik. We had Challah. Then we have Rikikin. What is that? Very thin, like pancakes. Thin breads.
They call it wafers here.
Well, that's like a pancake. Okay, well, it wasn't really a wafer. It was more like it was a little soft. So I'm saying it was more like a pancake or whatever. Okay, thin. That's the point. Okay. Bechinas tika netzachoid yesoid raglin lachnia aklipa she'achizosan bereglayin. To fix the tikkun of Netzach Chod Yesod, and that's the klipa that's connected to the feet. And that sometimes a person feels his feet is very tired. He can't go on, he can't move. His feet are tired. You ever feel that way? That comes from depression. Bebechinas roitzin lizgabe chas v'sholem. Bebechinas ochla umad deka ushaora V'sha'ara biragla rafsa. Eat and whenever it causes weakness in the feet. Aval tzadikim heim bechinas Mashiach, but tzadikim, what we said, are the idea of Mashiach because the tzadikim are also like an aspect of Moshe. We learned. choice mitzvahs besimcha mezachin es Yisrael, and they are causing merits for Klal Yisrael through their mitzvahs that they do with joy. Lezeh yachniem v'hadikem v'bechinas tadik v'tasev kol elin v'hi tikum la'alma, and that is the tikkun for the entire world. Malchus is Mashiach. It comes up to the world. It causes salvation to the world. We said when we do the mitzvah with joy, we're causing all the worlds are waiting for the mitzvah. The tzaddikim are doing mitzvahs with joy, and then everyone's waiting. It causes all of this motion. Zemerames rikikin umadike shemahadikin oisan. They make them very thin. They make them very thin, specifically very thin. They roll them out. This is what it means, like kitit, like the mud, the cement, and they made it very, very thin. Who b'machberes rekikin kamuva. This is like the idea of the rekikin, and that's very thin. Al kei nemar meshuchim b'shemen, and therefore they would mix into it oil. They would mix into it oil. Rames al bechinas Mashiach shehu yahadek es haklipas sheroitzim lahadek hakol. Mashiach will come against the klipas and flatten them out because the klipas are trying to knock us down. So Mashiach, remember when we're talking about the klipot, the husks of impurity, they are trying to attack us. So we say we take the what do you call it, the cake, and we mix into it oil from shemen Mashiach, right? Mashiach, and therefore we can flatten out. The Mashiach will flatten out the klipos, and that's why we make these cakes very thin. Okay. Bechinas raglin kiikar melichas Mashiach melchemes Mashiach bechinas raglin. The main war of Mashiach will be with the legs. K'maisha kosav v'amdu raglav b'yayim hahu, the feet. Zechariah says, the holy Navi says v'amdu raglav, the feet will rise up. V'amdu raglav. What does that mean? The feet will rise up b'yayim hahu on the day of Mashiach, when Mashiach comes. When Mashiach comes, that's the time that the feet will rise up. I don't know if we're going to be able to. I think we're going to stop over here, and then we'll stop over here. And we're going to stop by the next level of the bread, and that's the mirubeches beroischin, and that's the third type of bread. So we did two types of bread. We did the challah and the rekikin, and the Mitzvah Hashem will continue on the next type of bread tomorrow. Okay, the third and the fourth bread tomorrow. Because then I want to start this halacha now in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, okay? Can I have a pen, David? You have a pen there? I could use just for a second. Thank you very much. Just want to make a mark so I remember where we left off. There you go. I sent it back to you, sir. Thank you. Okay, everyone, if you can open up your Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. And this is very exciting to be able to learn now. We're starting Siman Mem, okay, 40, and this is Hilchas Netilas Yadayim L'Seuda. So we spent a lot of time of Hilchas Netilas Yadayim L'Seuda. In Likutey Halachos, right, we learned all about the washing your hands for the Suda. And really washing your hands for the Suda, we learned that eating is really a milchama, right? Lechem, we learned, is the idea of milchama. It's the same. Bread is battle. War. Yeah. Milchama is a battle. Lechem, the idea of lechem is a milchama. Eating is a battle. Because am I eating for the desire of food, or am I eating to have vitality in my body to serve Hashem with joy? Right? Right? That's why I'm eating. If I'm eating, I'm healthy, I'm well, I have energy, I can serve Hashem with joy. Right? But when I wash my hands, it takes away all of the the atzvos that are connected to the hands, also in the heart and in the hands. I want to wash off all of the impurities of my hand. So when I pick up the bread with my 5 fingers on each hand, and I pick it up together with the 10 fingers, connected to the 10 types of song, connected to the 10 different pulses, connected to the 10 sphira, right? Oh, I use my 10 fingers on the bread. We learned all these things, right? Right? When I do that, and it's also 10 because there are 10 different mitzvahs in making bread, we learned, right? And then we say there's ha maitzi lecha min haaretz, right? We got 5 and 5. We're praising Eretz Yisrael for the 5 different grains that Eretz Yisrael has, right? That are in Eretz Yisrael, right? Okay. That was what we learned. I'm just reviewing a little bit. Now let's go to Aleph, okay? Aleph. Haroitze lechel pas shemevarchen aleha maitzi. A person wants to eat bread. He's going to make the hamotzi on. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Tzarich lital yodav mikaydem. You have to wash your hands before. Ima pas gedoyle kebeitza. There we go, see that? If the bread is larger than the size of an egg, and this is an egg, it's a difference of opinion. Is it 1 ounce? Is it 3 ounces? Is it 5 ounces? Of course, there's a difference. But Moshe said it's like 1.1 ounce. Very small. Very, very small, 1.1 ounce. But this is 1.1 ounce if you compressed it and put it into a schnapps cup. You know, a little shot glass. That's usually like how many ounces of shot glass? Like 1 ounce or so? A small shot glass. Does anyone know how much is a shot glass? It's like 1 ounce? You don't, no one knows. Okay, good. No one drinks it. This is great. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Okay, it's about 1 ounce. So if you would take the bread and you would squeeze, bread's fluffy. So if you would squeeze the bread and stick it into a cup, what you could fit into that cup would be 1 ounce, 2 ounce, whatever it is. If you can eat that much, then it requires you to wash your hands. You wash your hands, but you won't make the blood. What is it?
1.5 ounces.
Yes, that's about Rav Moshe's shita. That's about his shita. So if he could stay, it depends on the shot glass also. It's a little more than 1 ounce usually. So if you could stick, that's what Rav Moshe said. If you could stick the bread, and you could squeeze up the bread, squeeze it, and stick it into the cup, that would be not the fluffy piece of bread. You understand? Because there's air in there. Okay, so then if you're going to eat less than that, you still wash your hands, but you don't make the blessing. You don't make your blessing on the netilas yadayim, and the reason for that is because we know that the tumah doesn't attach itself, the tumah that we're talking about with the eating, in less than a kazayas. So therefore, you'll wash your hands, but you won't make But I don't think anyone's going to eat bread. If you can eat a slice, anyone that's going to wash is going to eat a slice of bread at least. I would assume that, right? Is that right? Mm-hmm. You're not going to wash and take a little tiny bite of bread, but unless you wanted to taste bread, right? You have someone made the bread. You're not interested in eating a meal. Maybe that would be the case, right? Like he went to Shalom's house, he made beautiful challah. He wanted to taste his challah, right?
This happened to me 2 days ago. We wanted to.
Oh, there we go. Okay, here we have a story. I love that. Okay.
This woman was sitting there with a big eating lunch. This woman comes over to the table and she goes, "Lechem, lechem." So somebody gives her a sandwich. She takes a little piece. She makes an old tin, she eats the bread. What happened? And she prepared her whole lunch, like fruits and vegetables, whatever, and the sandwiches. And I forgot in the refrigerator. I didn't bring it. I went and I washed. I made a I didn't find the bread.
But that she doesn't know the halacha. Before you wash, you're supposed to make sure you have your bread.
Okay.
And we're going to learn about that. Yeah, we're going to learn about that. That's a very important thing, right?
And then at the end, she said, it was a rabbi there, said, "Do I have to bench on the little piece of bread today?" She said, "Well, it depends. It was, kazayah, not a kazayah." So
Kebeya or low kebeya, right. Chazaynish shir, different shiurim. Yeah.
So the person who gave the sandwich says, "Was this an average?" She says, "Was this an average?" They don't know. They don't hear. I don't know what happened myself.
Okay, listen. That's why it's so important to learn halacha and to know what to do, because really, you know, these situations can happen to anybody. Let's say you're in a shul with a shalosh shudas, for example, all right? And you come in there, and then you go wash, and there are challahs in the basket. They have a basket of challahs, right? And you come back, no challahs, no challahs. What do you do then? I just washed. There's no challah. What do I do? So that's what you're not supposed to. You're supposed to take your challah, put it on your plate, put something else on there, stick a fork in there, so people know that that's your challah, right? And they're not going to take your challah. Then go wash. Right? You understand? So it's where you'll know you have your challah. Otherwise, well, why am I washing if I don't have anything to eat? You understand? So these are practical halachas that we'll learn about in Mitzvah Hashem. So if you're going to eat bread, you have to wash your hands. And if you're going to eat at least the kazayas, you'll make the bracha. If it's less than the kazayas, you wouldn't make the bracha on natila. Natilas yadayim. So that lady had two problems, right? She didn't know if she even ate enough that would require her to make the bracha. So she should have eaten at least a slice of bread. Then she would have had no quandaries of what to do. Because if she ate a slice of bread, then her natila that she did was okay. Because she made the bracha al natilas yadayim. So then she qualified that bracha. And then if she ate the piece of bread, she'll be able to bench afterwards. So therefore, if you know halacha, is the greatest thing. And that's why the Rebbe always tells us, learn halacha every day. Chazal tell you, Kol hashlein halachas b'chol yoyim muftach lo yishu ben olam haba. Okay, everyone should have a wonderful day. And the Mitzvah Hashem will continue Likutey halachas tomorrow. We'll learn about the two other types of breads that are brought with the carbon toda. Everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you.